Hey everyone, and welcome to AI Daily Deep Dive, the podcast that's well-researched and generated entirely by AI.
Entirely by AI, that's right.
Today is March 15th, 2025, and we're diving into a really fascinating mix of stories that'll give you a quick but insightful look at what's happening in the world of AI.
I think it's amazing to see AI popping up in so many different areas, from personal development to the financial markets.
Yeah, for sure. So let's jump right in. Our first stop takes us to the quest for creating AI that feels truly human.
Okay.
We found this article from decrypt.co titled, "Which AI Actually is the Best at Being Human?" They decided to put four AIs head-to-head: Sesame, Hume AI, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini to see which one felt the most natural and relatable.
I'm curious about this one.
Me too. So it's really intriguing here is that the winner wasn't the AI known for being the smartest.
Oh, interesting.
It was actually Sesame that took the top spot. And the article highlights how it uses casual language, like saying that's a doozy. And it even throws in hesitations, those ums and ahs that we all do.
Yeah,
It makes it sound so much more like a real person.
I think those nuances in communication are key to creating AI that feels authentic.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
The article actually contrasts Sesame with ChatGPT,
Mm.
which we all know is obviously brilliant when it comes to knowledge, but struggles with casual conversation. It ends up sounding a bit like an overly academic professor, which isn't exactly the most approachable vibe.
Right. I can see how that would get old after a while.
Totally. The article also touches on Hume AI, which is designed with a focus on empathy and understanding emotions.
Yeah.
Seems like a great idea in theory, but did it actually live up to the hype?
It's capable of providing support, but it often relies on predictable responses. It's consistent, but lacks the spontaneity that makes a conversation feel truly genuine. The kind of back and forth we see with Sesame.
Right, so it sounds like finding that balance between consistency and spontaneity is still a challenge for AI developers.
Definitely. And then there's Google Gemini, which, according to the article, is still having some growing pains.
Okay.
Conversations can be a bit all over the place with interruptions and unfinished thoughts. Not exactly a smooth talker.
It sounds like Google has some work to do in that department.
A little bit, yeah.
So we've explored these different AI personalities, but what does it all actually mean for us?
Well, I think this comparison really highlights what it takes to create AI companions that truly resonate with humans. It goes beyond simply providing information. It's about crafting an experience that feels natural, engaging, and even emotionally intelligent.
That's a great point. So now our next deep dive shifts gears to a more practical question. How can we thrive in a world where AI is becoming more and more prevalent?
Okay.
We're looking at a Forbes article titled, "5 Ways to Use AI Without Surrendering Your Brain." The author, Lars Daniel, is a digital forensics expert.
Wow.
And he has some interesting insights on how to use AI without letting it take over our thinking.
That's really important.
What I find fascinating about Lars's perspective is that he starts with a personal anecdote.
Yeah.
He talks about how he used to have a great sense of direction but lost it after relying too heavily on GPS. He sees this as a prime example of what he calls cognitive offloading, where we let technology do the thinking for us.
I think that's a great analogy. It makes you think about all the ways we might be outsourcing our brain power without even realizing it.
Totally. And Lars argues that if we're not careful, becoming overly reliant on AI could have the same effect, leading us to stop challenging ourselves intellectually.
Yeah,
So he provides 5 strategies to help us stay sharp in an AI-driven world.
I like it.
These sound like must-haves for anyone who wants to keep their mental edge.
Yeah,
Let's dive into those strategies, shall we? Where do we start?
let's do it.
The first one might surprise you. Embrace boredom.
Oh, that's a good one.
Lars suggests taking time each day to disconnect from all the noise and stimulation. He specifically mentions going for a walk without your phone or any distractions.
I like that.
So it's about giving our brains some downtime to wander and make connections on their own.
That's important.
Precisely. The second strategy focuses on how we learn. Lars advocates for using AI to build what he calls learning ladders, breaking down complex subjects into progressively challenging steps. The idea is to use AI as a guide rather than a crutch.
So instead of just getting the easy answer from AI, we use it to build a deeper understanding of a topic.
Right. It's pretty clever.
Yeah, I like that.
The third strategy is all about problem solving. Lars emphasizes that we should use AI for scaffolding, not solutions. What he means is that AI can help us create frameworks or outlines for tackling a problem, but we need to fill in the details and do the critical thinking ourselves.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's like using AI to help you structure a marketing plan, but you're still the one doing the research and analysis to make it work.
Makes sense.
Exactly. The fourth strategy is all about challenging our thinking. Lars suggests turning AI into a debate partner,
Ooh.
using it to poke holes in our ideas, refine our arguments, and uncover any biases we might have.
Oh, I like that.
That sounds like a fantastic way to sharpen those critical thinking skills.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got boredom learning ladders, scaffolding, and AI debates. What's the fifth strategy to round it all out?
Lay it on me.
The fifth and perhaps most crucial strategy is to establish what he calls AI-free zones.
Okay.
It's all about setting boundaries and recognizing that there are times when we need to disconnect from AI entirely.
Yeah.
This could mean dedicating certain hours of the day to deep work or creative tasks where we rely solely on our own abilities.
You know, it's a great reminder that we don't have to let AI dominate every aspect of our lives. We can choose when and how we engage with it.
Right. Now, for our next deep dive, we're stepping into the world of finance with an article from The Motley Fool that caught my eye.
Oh.
It's titled, "Billionaire Warren Buffett's Artificial Intelligence AI Investing Strategy May Surprise You."
Okay, I'm intrigued already. Buffett is known for his cautious approach to investing, especially when it comes to tech companies, so I'm really interested to see how he's approaching AI.
Exactly. He's not exactly a Silicon Valley enthusiast, so I was curious to see what his take on AI is. Well, what the article reveals is that Buffett isn't jumping on the bandwagon of investing in pure AI companies.
Okay.
Instead, he's focusing on well-established businesses that are indirectly benefiting from AI.
So he's looking for companies that are using AI to enhance their existing operations or create new opportunities.
Precisely. And the article highlights two prime examples, Apple and Amazon.
Wow, those are some big names.
What's Buffett's rationale for investing in them from an AI perspective?
Well, with Apple, it's not just about their iconic hardware. Their services segment, which includes things like the App Store and Apple Music, is becoming a major growth area, and it's powered by AI in a big way.
So he's recognizing that AI is playing a key role in Apple's evolution.
Exactly. And then there's Amazon. While they're obviously known for their e-commerce dominance, Buffett sees the real value in their Amazon Web Services, AWS division, which provides the cloud computing infrastructure that underpins so many AI applications.
So in a way, he's investing in the picks and shovels of the AI gold rush. That's a pretty shrewd move.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it suggests that he sees the potential for AI to transform a wide range of industries, not just the tech sector itself.
Right. This whole approach raises a really interesting question. Could Buffett's strategy be a model for how to invest wisely in a future that's being shaped by AI? It's definitely something to ponder.
It is.
Okay, now buckle up, because our next deep dive takes us into a much darker corner of the AI world.
Oh.
We're looking at an article from Axios titled, "AI Voice Cloning Scams, a Persistent Threat with Limited Guardrails." This one sounds a bit unnerving.
It is. It's a sobering reminder that technological advancements can be exploited for malicious purposes.
So tell me, how are scammers using AI voice cloning to their advantage?
Well, the article explains that this technology has become incredibly sophisticated. With just a few seconds of audio, AI can create a realistic replica of someone's voice, making it nearly impossible to tell the difference between the real thing and the fake.
Oh, wow. That's terrifying. So you could literally have someone impersonating you over the phone and you wouldn't even know it.
That's the scary part. And the article highlights a particularly insidious tactic known as the granny scam, where scammers use cloned voices of loved ones to manipulate victims into sending money.
Oh, no.
They'll often create a sense of urgency, claiming that the person they're impersonating is in trouble and needs immediate financial assistance.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That preys on people's emotions and trust in the worst possible way.
It really does.
But how are these scammers getting their hands on voice samples in the first place?
Unfortunately, it's easier than you might think. They can pull audio from social media videos, voicemail messages, or even recordings of public speeches.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't take much to feed the AI and create a convincing clone.
It seems like this kind of technology could have serious implications for cybersecurity and privacy.
Absolutely. The article points out that AI voice cloning has advanced to the point where it's even surpassed what's known as the uncanny valley.
Can you explain what that means?
Sure. The uncanny valley is this phenomenon where things that look almost human but not quite can evoke a feeling of unease or creepiness. But with AI voice cloning, we're moving beyond that. The replicas are so good that they don't trigger those same alarm bells, making them even more deceptive.
So we're essentially reaching a point where our ears can't even be trusted anymore.
Kind of, yeah. It's a little scary.
Are there any real-world examples of how these scams are playing out?
The article tells the story of Gary Schildhorn, a Philadelphia attorney who almost fell victim to one of these scams. He received a call from someone he thought was his son, claiming to have been in an accident and needing money for bail. It was only through sheer luck that he was able to verify the situation before sending any money.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
Yeah,
And it really highlights how emotionally vulnerable we are to this kind of manipulation, especially when it involves someone we love.
exactly. The article also mentions that Consumer Reports has put out some recommendations for how to mitigate these risks.
Okay, what kind of advice are they offering?
They suggest things like creating unique audio consent statements, which essentially involve recording yourself saying something specific that you can use to verify your identity if someone calls claiming to be you.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah.
So if someone calls pretending to be you can ask them to repeat the consent statement, and if they can't, you'll know it's a scam.
Exactly. Consumer Reports also recommends watermarking AI-generated audio so that it can be identified as synthetic.
Okay.
But on a more practical level, they emphasize the importance of cultivating a healthy skepticism towards any unexpected calls, even if the voice sounds familiar.
So don't be afraid to ask questions and verify the caller's identity, even if it feels a bit awkward.
Exactly. It's always better to err on the side of caution.
For sure. Now let's broaden our perspective and look at how AI is impacting the workforce as a whole. We've got a thought-provoking article from The Guardian titled, "It's Happening Fast." Creative workers and professionals share their fears and hopes about the rise of AI. It features a diverse range of voices from people whose careers are being directly affected by AI, and it paints a pretty complex picture.
It's fascinating to see how AI is playing out differently in various professions. The article gives us a glimpse into the lives of individuals who are grappling with the challenges and opportunities that AI presents.
Exactly. It's not just a theoretical discussion. It's about real people whose livelihoods are being impacted in very real ways.
Yeah.
One of the stories that stuck out to me was that of Oliver Fiegel, a photographer who's struggling to compete with the influx of AI-generated images.
Oh, wow.
It's a challenge that many creatives are facing as AI tools become more sophisticated and accessible.
It raises some tough questions about the future of creative work and the value of human artistry in an AI-driven world.
Absolutely. And then there's the story of Carl Kerner, a translator who's seen his business nearly vanish due to the rise of AI-powered translation tools. At 54 years old, he's now having to reinvent himself and find a new career path.
Oh, gosh.
That's a poignant reminder that AI's impact is felt most acutely by individuals who are forced to adapt and reskill in the face of rapid technological change.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder of the human cost of progress.
But the article also highlights how some professionals are embracing AI and finding ways to integrate it into their work in positive ways.
That's good.
Can you give us some examples of that?
Sure. The article features Alexander Calvi, a doctor who's incorporated an AI scribe into his workflow.
Okay.
This allows him to see more patients and focus on providing personalized care rather than getting bogged down in administrative tasks.
So in this case, AI is freeing up his time and energy to focus on what matters most as patients.
Exactly. The article also features Paul, a university researcher who uses AI tools like ChatGPT to help him with various academic tasks.
Hmm.
He sees AI as a valuable tool that can enhance productivity and efficiency. However, he also expresses concerns about data privacy and the growing power of the tech giants that control these AI systems.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah,
As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, we need to ensure that it's developed and used responsibly.
absolutely. And then there's Jenny Turner, a freelance illustrator whose hand-drawn illustrations are being undercut by the influx of cheap AI-generated images. It's a challenge that many artists and creatives are facing as AI tools become more accessible and affordable.
It raises questions about the economic viability of creative work in an AI-driven marketplace.
It does, and it highlights the need for policies and regulations that can help protect the livelihoods of those whose work is being impacted by AI.
So it's a complex landscape with winners and losers, and it's crucial to acknowledge both sides of the story.
I agree.
The article also mentions an IMS study revealing that a staggering 60% of jobs in advanced economies are vulnerable to AI's influence.
That's huge.
So it's not just creative professions that are at risk. We're talking about a potential widespread disruption of the labor market.
Exactly. And this is leading to a lot of debate about how to prepare for the future of work.
So what are some of the key perspectives that are emerging from this debate?
Well, on the one hand, you have figures like UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer who believe that AI can be a powerful tool for boosting productivity and economic growth. They see AI as a force for good that can create new jobs and opportunities.
So there's a sense of optimism about AI's potential to drive innovation and progress.
Yes, but on the other hand, you have trade unions and labor organizations that are understandably concerned about the potential for job displacement and widening income inequality.
Yeah.
They're calling for policies that can help protect workers and ensure a just transition to an AI-powered economy.
It's a delicate balance, finding a way to harness AI's potential while also addressing the legitimate concerns of those who might be negatively affected by its rise.
It is. And it's a conversation that needs to involve everyone, from policymakers and business leaders to workers and educators.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears now to a more personal and perhaps unexpected application of AI. We've got a fascinating article from Fast Company titled, "How I Used AI to Boost My Self-Esteem and How You Can Do the Same."
I like this one.
It features the story of Patrice Polzer, a business storytelling coach who initially had a rather skeptical view of AI. What's interesting about Patrice's story is that she started out frustrated with students submitting AI-generated work. She saw it as a shortcut that undermined the value of original thought and creativity. So her initial reaction was pretty negative. But then what happened?
I want to know.
Well, as the article explains, she had a bit of a breakthrough moment.
Okay.
She decided to confide in an AI about her own personal struggle with wearing hearing aids.
Wow.
And the AI's response surprised her.
What did the AI say that shifted her perspective?
It wasn't so much about the specific words the AI used, but more about the way it helped her see her story from a different angle.
Okay.
It made her realize that her perceived weakness could actually be a source of strength and connection.
I love that. That's fascinating. So the AI didn't offer any groundbreaking advice. It simply acted as a sounding board that helped her process her own thoughts and feelings.
Exactly. And that's when Patrice started to see the potential for AI as a tool for self-reflection and personal growth. She began using it as a kind of digital journal, documenting her fears, challenges, and moments of self-doubt.
It sounds like she was using AI to tap into a different part of her brain, the part that's often silenced by our inner critic.
That's a great way to put it. And through this process, she discovered that her personal struggles were actually relatable and could be woven into compelling stories that resonated with others.
That's a beautiful reminder that vulnerability can be a source of strength and connection.
It is. And Patrice took this realization even further. She created StoryPro, an AI-based storytelling tool designed to help people discover and share their own authentic narratives.
That's awesome. So she took her own experience and turned it into something that could benefit others.
Exactly. And the article concludes with Patrice making the decision to share her hearing aid story publicly on LinkedIn.
Good for her.
Was she hesitant to put herself out there like that?
I'm sure she was. It's understandable to have those fears. But she decided to embrace vulnerability. And the response she received was overwhelmingly positive.
No.
People connected with her story and thanked her for her courage.
That's so inspiring. It shows that when we're willing to share our authentic selves, we open the door for genuine connection and understanding.
It does. And it highlights the power of storytelling to bridge divides and foster empathy.
Okay, for our final deep dive today, we're going to explore the challenges and opportunities of raising children in a digital age.
This is a big one.
We've got an article from her campus titled "The Digital Dilemma: How Social Media and AI Are Reshaping Childhood and Learning." And it starts with a scenario that many of us can relate to: waking up in the morning and immediately getting sucked into the endless scroll of our social media feeds.
Tell me about it.
It's a common experience, but it raises some important questions about how we're using technology and the impact it's having on our lives, especially for children who are growing up in this hyper-connected world.
Right. The article points out that the pandemic actually accelerated this trend, with children relying more heavily on technology for both learning and socializing.
Exactly. And while there are certainly benefits to this, such as increased access to information and educational resources, there are also some significant drawbacks that we need to address.
Yeah, I agree.
So what are some of the key concerns that the article highlights?
One of the biggest concerns is the unrestricted access that many children have to social media platforms. These platforms can expose them to harmful content, unrealistic portrayals of life, and cyberbullying.
Those are serious issues, and it can be incredibly heartbreaking to think about. And it makes you wonder if we're doing enough to protect children from the darker side of the digital world.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
The article also points out that sometimes even well-intentioned parents can unintentionally contribute to the problem.
How so?
Well, in our busy lives, it can be tempting to use screens as a babysitter or a way to keep children entertained. But this can create a pattern of digital dependency where children become accustomed to constant stimulation and struggle to engage in offline activities.
It's a tough balance to strike, finding ways to incorporate technology into children's lives in a healthy and productive way, while also encouraging them to develop other interests and skills.
Exactly. The article stresses the importance of finding that balance. It offers some practical tips for parents, such as setting screen time limits, monitoring online activities, and encouraging children to engage in offline hobbies.
So it's not about demonizing technology, but about teaching children how to use it responsibly.
Precisely. And the article also emphasizes the importance of open communication between parents and children. We need to talk to them about the realities of social media, the dangers of online interactions, and how to protect themselves.
It's about empowering them with the knowledge and skills they need to navigate this digital landscape safely and confidently.
Right. And that brings us to the end of part one of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground today, from AI companions to financial strategies to the potential pitfalls of social media.
It's been a whirlwind tour of the AI landscape, but hopefully you're feeling a bit more informed about the ways in which AI is shaping our world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be sure to join us for part two, where we'll continue exploring these fascinating topics and delve even deeper into the implications of AI for our future.
I can't wait. You know, one of the things that really struck me about that Her Campus article is how social media can distort our perception of reality, especially for young people.
It's like they're constantly bombarded with these picture-perfect images of everyone else's lives,
All right.
which can make it really hard to feel good about their own.
Exactly. It creates this pressure to present a flawless image online, which can be incredibly damaging to self-esteem.
And it's not just about appearances or material possessions either. It's this whole culture of FOMO, fear of missing out,
Yeah.
where they constantly feel like they're not having the right experiences or achieving the right milestones.
It's like this never-ending competition to see who's having the most fun, the most success, the most everything. It can be exhausting and ultimately lead to feelings of inadequacy.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if social media is inadvertently setting kids up for disappointment and anxiety.
That's a really good point. And the article also touches on another dark side of social media, cyberbullying. The anonymity of the internet can make people feel emboldened to say things they would never say in person.
Yeah, it's like the online world becomes this breeding ground for negativity and cruelty, and it can be relentless.
Exactly. Victims of cyberbullying often feel like they have nowhere to escape because the harassment follows them online,
Yeah.
and it can have a devastating impact on their mental health.
It's a serious issue, and the article stresses the importance of open communication between parents and children.
Yeah.
We need to have honest conversations about the realities of social media and the dangers of online interactions.
It's about empowering them with the knowledge and strategies to navigate this digital landscape safely and responsibly. But it's not all doom and gloom when it comes to technology and kids.
You're right.
Yeah.
We need to acknowledge the benefits as well.
Absolutely. Technology can be a powerful tool for learning, connecting with others, and exploring new interests. It's all about finding a healthy balance.
So it's not about demonizing technology altogether. It's about guiding children towards healthy and productive uses of it.
Precisely. And that's where parents and educators play a crucial role. We need to be mindful of how much screen time kids are getting, what kind of content they're consuming, and who they're interacting with online.
Right. It's about teaching them digital literacy and critical thinking skills so they can make informed decisions about how they use technology.
Exactly. We need to equip them with the tools to be responsible digital citizens. Now, taking a step back from this specific discussion, it's incredible to see how AI is woven into so many different aspects of our lives, from our personal relationships to the global economy.
It really is. It feels like we're at this pivotal moment where AI is rapidly transforming the way we live, work, and interact with the world around us.
And as AI continues to evolve at such a rapid pace, it's more important than ever to have these kinds of conversations about its implications.
Absolutely. We need to be informed, thoughtful, and proactive in shaping the role that AI plays in our society.
And that starts with staying curious and asking the right questions.
Like, what does it mean to be human in an age of increasingly sophisticated AI? How do we ensure that AI is used for good and not for harm? These are questions that we need to grapple with.
You've hit the nail on the head. These deep dives have given us a lot to think about. The AI landscape is complex and constantly evolving, but by staying informed and engaged, we can navigate these changes effectively.
And maybe even help shape the future of AI in a way that benefits all of humanity.
That's the ultimate goal, to harness the power of AI while preserving what makes us uniquely human, our creativity, empathy, and ability to connect with one another on a deeper level.
Beautifully put.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll wrap up part 2 of our deep dive. Be sure to join us for part 3, where we'll share some final thoughts and a challenge for you to ponder. We've really journeyed far, haven't we? From those superhuman-like AIs to the complexities of raising kids in today's digital world.
We sure have, and we even took a quick detour through Warren Buffett's surprisingly tech-savvy investment strategy.
It really is amazing how AI is touching so many different aspects of our lives these days.
It is, it's everywhere. And one of the key takeaways for me is that AI isn't just a technological phenomenon, it's a societal one.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's really forcing us to reevaluate everything from our personal values to our entire economic system.
Right, it's making us all question what it truly means to be human in a world where machines are becoming more and more capable.
Sometimes I feel like AI is holding up this mirror to humanity, reflecting back both our strengths and our weaknesses.
That's a really powerful image. It makes you wonder, are we really in control of this technology, or is it starting to control us?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But I think it's not all doom and gloom.
No, not at all. We need to remember that AI also has the potential to do a lot of good in the world.
For sure.
Yep.
Like using AI to develop life-saving medical treatments, create sustainable energy solutions, or even connect people across cultures.
Exactly. There's so much potential. And remember Patrice Polzer, the storytelling coach who used AI to boost her self-esteem and help others share their stories.
Oh yeah, that was really inspiring.
It was a beautiful example of AI being used as a force for good.
Totally. So the question for me becomes, how do we navigate this really complex landscape? How do we embrace AI's potential while still mitigating all the risks?
That's the big challenge, right? It requires a really delicate balance of optimism and caution.
We need to be, informed, critical thinkers and active participants in shaping the role that AI plays in our lives and society as a whole.
And we really need to start having these conversations now while AI is still in its early stages of development.
Because the decisions we make today will have a huge impact on the future we create.
As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI, I want to leave you with a challenge.
Okay, I love a good challenge. What is it?
I want you to think about how you can use AI to enhance your own life, your work, or even your community.
Okay.
But here's the catch. The key is to do it in a way that aligns with your values and contributes to a future that you really believe in.
That's a powerful call to action. Yeah. It's not just about blindly embracing technology. It's about being intentional and thoughtful about how we use it.
Exactly. On that note, this has been AI Daily Deep Dive for March 15th, 2025.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery.
We'll see you next time.